All right. Welcome to the latest installment of the Hybrid Cloud Partners podcast. I'm Mike Hartman, and I'm here with Adam Burke from Microsoft. And today we're with our friends from Intility, based in Oslo, Norway. Welcome, Fredrik, Slaatten, and Henrik Samdal. Quick overview of Intility. Intility delivers a managed IT platform service that provides an industrialized multi-cloud infrastructure for over 650 companies and 50,000 users worldwide. Intility delivers end-to-end IT environment management, integrating cloud services into a continuously updated and secure platform. This platform acts as a digital foundation, enabling client productivity and digital transformation. Welcome, Fredrik and Henrik. Why don't you both give a quick overview of yourselves and your background, and we'll get started.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Good introduction. Thanks for that. So I'm Henrik. Been at the company for 15 years out of the total 25 that the company's been around. Started straight out of college or grad school, actually. Been there my whole career, basically. So did some work in sales, did some work in project management. For the past 10 years or so, my responsibility has been application services, which 10 years ago was about 10 people. Now it's about 100. So we're growing, and what we do is growing as well. So looking forward to talking about that as we go today.
Yeah, and again, thank you for the great introduction. Happy to be here with you guys. Like Henrik, I started right after college and been here for 10 years now, working in different roles, but the last 2 years working a lot with Azure and how we deliver Azure to our customers. So looking forward to this talk.
Thank you both. So Adam and I had the pleasure of meeting with you several months ago, and we were incredibly impressed with your story and the value you provide to customers. Let's talk about the origin of Intility and your journey up to this point.
So Intility has really been defined by a long-term industrialized approach to IT platform development and IT operations. As you were alluded to in your intro, we've basically focused since day one on building and delivering one digital foundation for all our customers. So essentially, that's an end-to-end enterprise IT platform as a service. Even since long before we knew as a service was going to be a big thing, this was early 2000s. The concept was basically deliver everything that an enterprise needs in terms of IT infrastructure, networking, compute and storage, business productivity applications, email, link server at that time. Package all of that and deliver it all as one predefined and industrialized service for all the customers. So that was sort of an alternative to the more traditional approach of building one platform per customer. And then on top of that, we've always also delivered 24/7 operations and management, security, and everything you need basically to maintain and operate the workloads that you place on top of that. So it's basically like a one-stop shop for everything you need in terms of infrastructure and platform, but also the IT service management that you need on top of that, delivered as a service. And lately we've also, in the last few years, we've also been building our own ITSM software suite, which is fully integrated with the platform, of course, but also the management processes that are needed to do all of these things that we've committed to doing for all of our customers. So we use it ourselves, we use it with our customers, and our customers use it themselves for self-service and basically to collaborate with us. And so obviously the tech industry has changed a lot in 25 years. The size of our customers has changed, the complexity of their workloads has changed, but our core mission has basically been the same over time. And every time we talk about this theme, we come back to like our success has fundamentally come from this continuous evolution as opposed to revolution or one pivotal moment or one decision. It's really staying true to that mission. And so in terms of specific decisions that have taken us to the point we are right now, I would say every single decision to stay true to our mission, not to change our operating model to accommodate the latest hype, not to deliver something or offer something to a customer that we weren't fully committed to actually delivering quality and industrializing. All of those small decisions every day have really taken us where we are right now.
And just to add, we can kind of see some of the same or parallels at least to bring those same concepts and same strategies and ideas to, for instance, public cloud. We help customers standardize, bring them enterprise scale capabilities, even though they might be small or their Azure environment is small at this time, and helping them utilize and develop on new technology that might be more distant for them, being smaller organizations. So they kind of take those large scale opportunities and possibilities, and we enable that for businesses of all sizes and shapes.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Thank you for the background there and the history. So, given the crowded market you're operating in from an IT standpoint, we know differentiation is certainly key. Maybe you could share a little bit more about what sets Intility apart, and particularly around your comment on industrialization. I think that's a really interesting differentiation you all have there. Could you perhaps share a bit more about that and how that relates to hybrid cloud and managed services?
Definitely. Yeah, so at the risk of repeating ourselves, I think there's a pretty unique operating model for what we do at the base here. So obviously, if you take software as a service, that's not very unique these days. Like everyone's doing it, but actually delivering this whole package, which is a widespread physical package that's really working for our customers all around the world. It's like it's WAN, it's LAN, it's computer infrastructure. It's office infrastructure. It's every user's computer. It's their software. It's the compute, the storage, all the workloads running. So in terms of doing it for that whole package, at least we don't know many others who have done it in the same way. And so that opens some opportunities. And it also makes it important for us to be backwards compatible, which I think is actually a good differentiator for us because Azure is there. It's there for the taking. So if you only need Azure these days, you're good. Basically, you can build that on Azure, and you can even call us and get help with maintaining your environment there. But a lot of our customers, many of their most critical workloads are so-called legacy applications. They still have a load of those, and with 600 customers using this same platform, there's bound to be some of those over time. So we can't really discontinue any services just because they're out of fashion, and at least that's going to take us a lot of time. But we have this industrialization approach to everything we do, so we feel the need to double down and really raise the bar, raise the floor, and bring the quality of the services that we deliver on these more legacy systems up to the level of more modern technologies, really to be able to deliver the same service to those customers as the modern-only customers. So that's a strength, I think, because we don't really need to chase anyone away. We can, as long as their workloads support the platforms that we deliver, they have mature services which are going to have a lifespan, and they can really go in with a long-term approach and say, okay, so we don't really have to make any changes on this and this for the next 3 years. Maybe just let's go all in on Intility, and then we start migrating, and then we start modernizing without having that kind of pressure that may get you to do something that's not really beneficial in the long term.
And like Henrik mentioned earlier on, where the traditional model back in the early 2000s was building one platform per customer, while we built one platform for each customer that could onboard them on. We're using that same approach as well when we're now developing solutions and frameworks to manage and support our customers in Azure as well. So we're building one foundation and framework that we can deploy and iterate on and then customize on top on. So I think that standardization as well is following us into the new era, and we'll probably see that following us as well into the AI era.
That's awesome. Really want to talk about like how do you look at evolving your offerings, from hybrid to public cloud, multi-cloud, edge. Like, how do you work with your customers to help them transform their IT estate?
Yeah, big question. Uh, so I'll start just by building a little bit on what I just said, and then Fredrik maybe can go into the more specific work that we do with our customers. Fredrik is really responsible for most of the important jobs that we do with specific customers. But I mean, the whole multi-cloud hybrid, it's going to be like that for a while, we think, and there's room for more modalities. Basically, we have this saying internally that doesn't translate too well, but it's in Norwegian, so it's basically like there's room for both TV and cinema. And I know not a lot of people watch TV these days, and I know not a lot of people go to the movies these days. But we've added and Netflix to the end of that because we believe there's a long time span for a lot of these things. So it's a moving target. We've had customers come to us and say, we now have a cloud-first strategy. We've had customers come to us and say, we now have a cloud-only strategy, SaaS-first, SaaS-only even. We take the approach that some of these more like ideologies really work well on slide decks, but we say there's room for both TV and cinema and Netflix. So we're going to keep supporting all the modalities until they really don't no longer have the right to live. So hybrid is not either or for us, and like a really important thing for us is being able to support all of these different modalities. And then, of course, on top of that, our customers are coming in with their workloads and they're planning for the long term. And so we also always have a pragmatic approach. We don't really have a default placement of a workload. We always go in with a pragmatic approach and try to see the business value and the complexity and the cloud readiness and really make assessments based on the particular case.
And it's like Henrik mentioned. And so what we also see a lot is that the customers coming to us and wanting to utilize Azure or new available technology, a lot of it is done as modernization projects rather than just migrating. And we also see trends, for instance, server apps are being replaced by SaaS, while our customers typically utilize Azure for building new solutions, new functionality, building their own custom solutions, and modernizing existing workloads and processes. And with that, also adapting and changing their organization to the new solutions they're building. So it's a more complex, but also more rewarding, and I think in some ways more interesting to follow those customers on the modernization journey. And same with Edge as well. It kind of comes down to the business case. We have, for instance, ships operating in the South Seas or solar plants around the world, where Edge is, of course, a natural use case to bring those compute and storage capabilities out to more rural areas and areas where you don't have the same access to infrastructure that you do, of course, in cities and other hubs.
Yeah. So I think if I could almost just kind of summarize what I heard you say, and I think why you all have been great partners of Microsoft is you all do a great job of meeting customers where they're at, dealing with some of the legacy capabilities they have, bringing them onto a standardized platform that then can drive future evolution and really help them maximize and get the most value out of more modern technologies. Like, is that a fair summary, would you say?
Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And I think that kind of goes into maybe the next question there, where, we see huge value in that with from a partnership standpoint. So, very thankful for the partnership that we've been able to build and evolve over time. In today's landscape, how would you say you're partnering with Microsoft through maybe co-sell programs, programs like DCO, where we're working to try and drive some migration and modernization of customer environments to Azure? Maybe there's other joint customer programs where we're engaged on. What's your perspective there in terms of what's working well?
I think one of the things that are working really well and that we're using a lot is knowledge sharing with Microsoft and our partners in Microsoft Norway. They're just across the street, so it's a short walk. And we see that we use them a lot for training, for enabling our own people, making them adopt new technologies, and that makes it a lot easier to talk about new opportunities, new technologies with our customers with confidence, because then we're using it ourselves. We have had some training, we've had some workshops with resources from Microsoft, and so using them a lot like a partner and not just someone who's trying to sell or just deliver a product, but actual partner to help us adopt and utilize and really see the benefits of new technology.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, the feeling is mutual, Adam. So we really appreciate the partnership as well. We see ourselves as a technology company. And what I mean by that is we see ourselves as a technology company delivering IT associated services, not as an IT company leveraging technology. So we really love it when we can work with Microsoft to make the actual platform integrations, which give our customers the tooling and the unique insight that they get into their environment, alongside the rest of their environment, which is not necessarily on Azure, in our portals, as one example. So things like Lighthouse was like a game changer for us when it came around. Azure Arc is doing good things for us these days. So those are some of the most favorite integration points and collaboration points we've had. But other than that as well, I mean, trust and the close collaboration we have with Microsoft is it's very crucial to what we do, obviously, especially critical for our customers. And with or without the incentive programs like DCO or things like that, I mean, driving joint customer success is what we are both all about. So I think that cooperation and collaborations is it's flourishing these days. And this is another sign of it. Thanks for inviting us on to your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great to hear that.
Let's shift gears then. I love the fact that you talk about that you're a technology company, and of course everyone knows AI is taking over everything. Would love to hear and explore this a little bit more. So from our end, with a lot of hybrid cloud partners, we've kind of built what we call a 3-horizon framework. Like, how can you look at your business across 3 different time horizons? So the first one being, how do you strengthen your hybrid capabilities? What else do customers need that you can bring in cloud-like services into that environment? And then how do you start innovating with AI? How do you start using it both yourself and with your customers? And then how do you ultimately drive transformation and look at it? So curious, first of all, like, how is Intility looking at the evolution of AI and how you can start leveraging it and using it both for yourself, but with customers as well?
Yeah, that's a good question and a good topic as well. We are utilizing a lot of AI internally. We were early on adopting Copilot to everyone in the organization as one example, but also utilizing it in our business processes. So trying to see and evaluate where can we get the most value back from starting to integrate AI and utilizing AI. So for instance, for our support system, we have AI helping us identify root causes, and channeling tickets to the correct teams, and predicting solutions with some confidence. While we also, of course, have that human or manual approach as well. So AI is supporting the humans rather than just doing all the tasks. So we see it in that. We also see it, of course, in developing software with, for instance, speccing and creating proof of concepts going a lot quicker now, with people with no coding or technical background being able to more or less prompt new solutions that they want and deliver a better spec to our developer teams, of course. So that's at least two key areas where we use AI. And well, we haven't stated it officially yet in this podcast, at least, but of course we want to expand outside of Norway and the Nordics as well. And just having that language barrier being handled by AI is actually really important, even though it might be just a small thing, but it has a pretty big impact. So that's at least some of the key areas where we use AI. And of course, our own GPT that we built just to make information and asking for internal documentation and sparring with the AI agent there a lot easier, while knowing that it's secure and handled within our sort of walls. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Henrik, but
yeah, sure. I mean, my first contact with the Three Horizons framework was the classic one. Was it McKinsey? I can't remember, but so that was sort of 3 time frames. So the first thing I thought of when I looked at this question was, now it's because of the second horizon, which is innovating with AI. You now have to address all the 3 horizons at the same time, basically, because things are moving along so fast. Even internally, I mean, just since the summer vacation, I've been back for 4 weeks. Most people here have been back for 3 weeks. It feels like the company has changed in terms of how we leverage AI. And it's just super exciting. I mean, as we've talked about, we're building this one digital foundation for all our customers with the ITSM layer on top, which basically means that when we innovate for ourselves, even though we may have like a later release timeline for functionality for our customers, it's there latent, basically. So we're using it internally. Then we let it loose on the actual workloads, and then we share the functionality with our customers. So there's like a 3-tier release pipeline, basically, for all our AI initiatives that everyone knows is coming as well. So we can show them what we're doing internally, and they'll know that in a few months we'll be using this as well. And the pace at which things are moving along right now, it's just a very exciting time to be in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you touched on a few things there that I think we look at too when we talk with our partners. One is, how do you essentially become customer zero, right? Where you're adopting things for yourself. And so I think just kind of what you shared with the broad Copilot adoption, and then how you're essentially, the first customer, if you will, for these new capabilities that you're rolling out, is incredible to see. And how you've integrated that, kind of into your ITSM framework. I think it kind of, brings the question from an innovation standpoint. Like, how have you been able to foster that culture of innovation? Like, that was definitely one of the things I think Mike and I noticed when we were there, and why we were so impressed with some of the work you all are doing is, you're definitely at the forefront from a use case standpoint in terms of just rapidly taking these technologies that released, in some kind of cases weeks earlier, and then kind of embedding them within your internal use cases and processes, and then also figuring out how do you rapidly enable them, with service wrappers, but making them available to your customers essentially. Like, how have you created that culture of innovation Would welcome your thoughts there to understand what has worked so well for you.
Yeah, I think we're gonna sound like a broken record now, but but I mean, it's fundamental to what we're doing here. We're building this one thing. Microsoft is building. I know you have regions and you have government cloud and so forth, but Azure is basically one huge product with a bunch of products in it. So
Yeah.
Innovating for the Azure team is going to be beneficial to all the customers using that platform. So even though we're in a slightly different part of the stack, we're basically building this layer of abstraction above a few different clouds and technologies. We have the same approach, and I guess I haven't met anyone in the Azure team lately, but if you ask them if that is rewarding, if that fosters a culture of innovation, I'm guessing a lot of people would say yes, because you're all creating this one magnificent thing together. So I think really just the operating model has done a lot for us through the years. But also we have, we think about this as well. So a few examples. Every week we have about 2.5 hours of show and tell internally. The whole company is invited to those approximately 2.5 hours, never less than 2 hours.
Wow.
That's a lot of time to set aside for everyone at the company. And of course, not everyone shows up to every session, but it's on the table. You can do that if you want. And that is centered around early developments, sort of the pushing the boundaries sort of things, just to inform and inspire and hopefully involve the right people at the right times at the early stages. And also about maybe half an hour a week, we also do that with our customers. All of our customers are invited to like a similar session where we share the similar things, maybe a few weeks behind, to once again involve, inform, and hopefully inspire, and work closely together to keep innovating.
Wow. So you essentially set aside like 5% of your work week, if you will, on a 40-hour work week to have that internal kind of innovation and like you're sharing kind of like new concepts that people are coming up with. Is that what it is?
Yeah, basically. And I believe it's been a game changer for us. I can't remember quite when we started doing this, but I'm thinking it was during COVID. So I know that. I don't know how big we were at the time, how much we've grown since then, but I think we were reaching a point where it was hard to inform. It was hard to stay in sync. Obviously, everyone was at home office, so things were changing rapidly. So we started doing that just to open up and keep everyone informed. And we're still doing it because it's been very important for us to be able to keep everyone informed and, once again, inspired.
Yeah, and it generates a lot of good ideas as well on kind of the cross-departmental section. So we can see someone from network, for instance, having developed new solutions or testing something new, and we from application can pick that up and say, okay, we have done something with this, some experience, and we get those really good cross-functional innovations. And just one more thing that comes to mind on that question was we've just started onboarding a lot of new people this fall, as we normally do every fall. And one of the things that we always tell them is to try to challenge the status quo. If you are curious about why something is done this way, why aren't we doing it this way? Or if there's some new technology that we haven't been using, don't be afraid to ask or challenge. Always come up with those good ideas, because we see a lot of what the good ideas and perspectives comes with different views and different people. So it's often people that haven't been here for 10 or 15 years like us come up with some of the good ideas to spin off on. And we also see that with a lot of people working here start in one role with their background, for instance, a business background, but then start to dig in on a technical aspect of the job. So for instance, within security or within network developer infrastructure, and bringing new or a different perspective from a developer into those kinds of roles is also something that we see generates a lot of good ideas and new solutions to problems that we earlier didn't know existed, or at least couldn't pinpoint to that degree.
Yeah, innovation won't be coming from the top in the coming years. So we're very tuned to that, and I can we arrange this by department. So we do our thing in application services, and whenever we do that, and we have something that we want to share, my inbox is full of maybe 10 messages after every time from different departments, different roles, different people who just want to talk more about it. So it's very useful.
Let's just give one example. We've talked about the ITS solution that we're building, but one of the key features there, of course, is our configuration management database, which we developed for applications and application environments. But that we also see a use case for instance, within operational technology and smart buildings, etc., to use those same kind of documentation tools, but in a different setting. But once we have that framework developed already internally in a different department, it's easier to adopt and utilize in the same setting. And of course, innovation is also driven by customers. We've talked a lot now about our internal processes, but most of our week, at least our week, is spent with customers, trying to tackle their challenges, giving advice, analyzing their situations. And we often pick up those trends as well when we see that, okay, this is our 5th meeting with 5 different customers on the same issue. Let's see if we can try to build something that we can roll out to everyone to solve the problem, or at least reiterate from experience from those projects and those deliveries. So a lot of it also comes from customers' needs, and their desire to adopt new technology and new solutions.
That's awesome. In fact, it's a great segue because I think everyone would love to hear what are your customers asking you about AI, and the fact that like you have these learning sessions all the time, and so your culture and your DNA now is kind of leading edge, right? And customers look to you for that leadership. I'm just curious. I think everyone on listening to the podcast is curious. Like, what are you hearing from your customers? What are they asking you about AI? Like, how are they viewing it, and how are you helping them kind of evaluate a framework for how they can transform over time?
That's a good question. And it kind of differs with, I would say, digital maturity within our customer base. So for some customers, AI right now is adopting and utilizing Copilot, having Copilot training, for instance. For others, it has been helping them map out existing business processes, see where you either can use AI to enhance those processes or make them more effective, or in some cases also change the process because some processes become redundant with new solutions delivered by AI. So we see a lot of that. We also see this in connection with data platforms. Customers are becoming more aware of their data and needing insights in their data, and bridging data and data platforms analytics with AI.
Yeah, as I was going to say, being the provider that we are, we love it when our customers ask us for advice of what they can do with AI. We do think that there's plenty of hype around it at the moment. We think all of our customers have good intentions, as opposed to some other hypes throughout the years. We're all in on this one, so I think we're all in agreement that this is a real one. This is a paradigm shift. So we rarely have to sell to our customers that AI is important. We rarely have to sell them the ideas of what they can achieve with it. It's more a matter of actually being able to. And so we spend a lot of time, obviously, preparing this one platform that we deliver to all of our customers for AI. And like we have for data platforms historically, like we've done for integration platforms, really tuning it to be able to be out of the box what they need when they are going to adopt AI, when they are adopting AI as they are right now. So it's ensuring that security, ensuring that the compliance, governance of the whole environment across clouds. That's really where we spend a lot of our time. Although we'd like to spend even more time in the future talking about all the good ideas and helping up the stack as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like you say, it comes down to a lot of the fundamentals. You need to secure it. You need to have governance in place, management routines, etc. So a lot of security and, of course, governance is also key when it comes to AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what our customers are asking.
Yeah, Fredrik, I think you actually kind of went to where I was going in terms of my next question. And, with innovation, how do you do it in a way, and how do you balance it in a way that ensures governance, privacy, security, your customers' trust with infrastructure? What are you focused on there to do this in a way that really builds that strong platform for future growth and scale with kind of trust really at the core?
We've kind of touched on it, but sometimes we can be perceived as kind of the brakes for our customers when it comes to adopting all new technology available. And that's due to the fact that we want to test it, verify it, and revise it, of course, looking at privacy agreements, on data processing agreements, so we can be sure when we recommend or roll out new solutions that we know and we have vetted the new technology thoroughly. But then again, on the flip side, we also see that once we do that, we enable it for 650 companies, more or less at once. So sometimes we like to tell the customers that the wait is worth it. But yeah, that's key for us in this area, and with AI, it's becoming more and more important because it's complex processes, complex functionality and systems. So keeping our focus on privacy, security, and governance is key.
So you wait a little, but when you get it, it's tried and tested, it's secured, it's compliant, it's a quality service that we can all get behind, basically. And that's the way we have to work, basically, to be able to push that button and deliver the same service to 600 customers.
So maybe just to repeat back what I think you said, sometimes it's a matter of going slow to go fast. Is that a way to frame it, perhaps?
Yeah, go slow to go fast in a secure manner.
Yeah, and we frequently help our customers. We discuss with them. We advise them in their early stage, so they're allowed to go and do all kinds of things. It's just that we can't really take full responsibility for 24/7 availability, performance, security, and everything until we've done our due diligence, basically. But that doesn't mean they can't do their proof of concept and have our advice on the way. So that's important for us to say, in case any customers are listening.
Yeah, to find that balance.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we could talk for hours about AI, and very interesting. Love to wrap up this podcast with your views, kind of fast forward, 5 years from now. What does AI leadership look like for Intility? What are you delivering to your customers? As you go on this journey and find all the value that you can unlock on behalf of customers with AI. What does leadership look like to you?
That's a hard question, big question.
It is a hard question.
Yeah. Well, I can say that we aim to lead in AI-driven managed services. We're going to keep investing in this one platform services that continuously adapts to the new technologies and customer needs. We know that's going to be a lot of AI. But as we started with, it's this general idea of what does an enterprise or a company need to realize their digital potential. The answer to that is going to be guiding for what we actually do with it. And now that we have these new technologies, we really believe that we're in a position to realize that and to achieve the scalability that we're so eagerly waiting for. So we're primarily in the Norwegian market. We have a lot of international customers, but they've mostly grown out of our Norwegian customer base. We see ourselves having a significant European presence in 2030, and that's really based on still having that same core of trying to solve the problem for all of our customers at the same time, because then we know the quality and the security and everything will be good enough for each of them. But exactly what that is and how we describe that leadership over time, that's hard, man. That's hard.
I would say you're doing everything right, though, by using it yourself, learning, fixing, or improving business processes of your own that you can then, share with customers. And that is the right way to do it and the right way to go on that journey. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I would just echo I think you made a comment about the pace of innovation going faster and faster. And it's interesting how far 5 years feels ahead at the current pace versus, maybe 5 years ago where things felt a little slower, right? I think AI is really, transforming everything, right? It's transforming how our customers work, how we work internally, how business gets done. But it's super impressive to see how you've really embedded it at the core across your, customer offerings and internal processes to really drive that transformation. So, really appreciate you all spending some time with us and sharing some of those thoughts with us today.
Of course, and
Our pleasure.
Thanks again for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
thanks very much.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned for more insights and stories from Microsoft's data center optimization team. Be sure to stay connected at dco.microsoft.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.